Sorry about that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kingdom's Queens podcast. Your Kansas City Chiefs are officially 3-0 heading into this 2024 season. It's been a crazy week of football. Lots of upsets in week 3. Kind of don't know what's going on in the NFL. Like a lot of games I didn't expect to go which way they did, but that just makes it interesting, right? It keeps us on our toes. Like we don't know what's going to happen any given Sunday. So I'm your host, Lexi.
Hey y'all, what's up? I am Jodi. Yeah, week 3 was very interesting. I didn't really watch a ton of football on Sunday because I wasn't here. But from just like some of the highlights that I could see, I was like, what in the world is happening? But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it and let's kind of recap a little bit about week 3 NFL. So, like you said, there were a lot of weird games and
a lot. Kick it off.
God bless. So, yes, we spoke about this last week and then we actually seen it this week. Last week, the Panthers announced that they were going to start Andy Dalton. And Andy Dalton had the nerves to beat the Raiders, who I thought the Raiders were going to win, and they lost, which makes me happy. But
of course,
no one in their right mind thought that the Panthers were going to pull it off and win last week.
No.
So, yeah, I didn't watch any of the game because I didn't care. But I did pick the Raiders to win and they didn't. So I mean, that makes me happy just in a sense of they're in the AFC West and it's very important that every single AFC West team just loses. So thank you, Panthers. I know we're going to kind of recap some later games going into week 4, but from what I'm seeing, it's sounding like Andy Dalton's going to maybe be the starter for a while. I don't know. I want Bryce Young to get the heck out of there.
I will say, like, I don't know what was going on with Bryce Young specifically, and I'm sorry if there's dogs barking in the background. I'm dog sitting right now, so different setting right now. Is it loud?
I can't hear it.
Okay, great. So, okay, because it's really loud behind me, but I'm like, anyway.
Oh, no, I can't hear anything
I don't know
at all.
what specifically is going on with Bryce Young. He doesn't seem...
Nothing.
He doesn't seem like a bad dude. He seems like a good leader to me. But it's like these guys, I was watching, so I actually sat down on my couch and just watched like how many ever hours of football. It's like 15 hours. I don't even know. 10 hours, whatever it is of football. And Bryce Young, well, he was on the sidelines. So it was interesting to see, but he looked like he had a good attitude during it. But it's like these guys like played their butts off for Andy Dalton. Like I think Deontay Johnson had the game of his whole career. Adam Thielen went completely off, almost got injured on his touchdown.
I think he is hurt though.
Chuba Hubbard went off, like which he doesn't usually do. It's just like something got into this team where I think they're probably just fed up with how they were playing, and they're like, okay, maybe fresh start with Andy Dalton, right? And so.
Get Bryce Young out of there. He deserves so much better than to play for the stupid Panthers and their terrible coaching and their terrible organization and that terrible franchise and the terrible front office. He deserves so much better.
He really does. Right. And I don't know what system he would fit in, but it's like kind of like Sam Darnold this season. Like he went to the Vikings and they totally revived his career so far. So yeah. You never know. Something like that could happen for Bryce Young maybe in the future. But right now, I think the Panthers are going to be selfish and they're going to keep him as their backup.
I mean, they should. He's the number one pick.
I get it. But yeah.
He was the number 1 pick last season. So I don't know.
To watch them beat down on the Raiders, I was like, I did not expect that.
Very interesting. I mean, and if you think about it, you're like, what kind of system would he play good in? I mean, like Kyler Murray is doing very well for the Cardinals and they're somewhat the same built, same stature. I will say Bryce Young is definitely a little bit smaller than Kyler Murray, but
he's small. He is small.
He also has a better offensive line than him. The Panthers O-line is terrible. So if you can't protect your quarterback who is running for his life for the last 17, 18 weeks of football, then it's like, what all do you expect from him? So anyway, moving on. The Broncos beat the Bucks. Bo Nix finally kind of got a rhythm. I did see him the moments I was watching. I seen him like kind of running and scrambling out of the pocket and running for first downs and making plays. So I didn't actually watch his quarterback play. Every time I tuned in, I seen him running. So I don't know what that means to
It was, it was
team.
better. I feel like it was better than what we've seen with him over the first 2 weeks. Like he actually got the ball to Cortland Sutton. He got the ball to his running backs, but he still does like the kind of like, holy crap, run.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, let me run. Like that's what he kind of.
I 100% thought the Bucks were going to also win this game. So this was another game that I said the Bucks were going to win. And again, it's so funny. I was in Atlanta this past weekend and I was with one of my good friends who's a Falcons fan. And she is like, no, I need the Bucks to lose. And I'm like, no, I need the Broncos to lose. So like the whole time we're both rooting against our division, rooting for the other person's division. But I was shocked by that. I'm interested to see how Bo Nix does going against teams that have a better defense. Like, let's see what the Broncos look like when they play the Falcons, or let's see what the Broncos look like when they play literally anybody else. If they play the Bengals, I haven't really dove into their schedule lately, but
some of these first matchups, it's been such bad teams, and we're realizing that through week 3, right? So it's like, it's okay. So now, but then the Bucks were a good team. But here's my thing: is I think the Buccaneers thought they had an easy win with the Broncos, and the Raiders thought they had an easy win with the Panthers. And then both teams, just all. I think that's what happened. I
was having a discussion yesterday, or was that today? God bless. I'm going on minimal sleep. I was having a discussion about week 3 so far, and the people who I were in a debate with, they were like, it's only week 3. You can't take anything serious. You got to wait till like week 7 or 8, which, okay, true. Like, you're not wrong. But at the same time, I can also observe what I've seen the first 3 weeks of football, and that's okay. I've seen good quarterback play. I've seen good offenses. I've seen terrible defensive lines. I've seen terrible, people not doing or being exactly who we thought they were going to be through 3 weeks. Now, granted, yes, these people, if they probably would have played in preseason, they probably wouldn't look as rusty, but to downplay the first 3 weeks of football, there's a lot to take away from that. There's a lot of teams that have to adjust. And if they don't adjust by week 7 or 8, then you a totally different conversation. But it's okay to have the conversation now about what people look like.
And what I think? I think week 3 is always where things get weird. It's always where it's like, okay, this team could be something, or this team is not going to be anything. It's like, there's always weird stuff. Like week 3, 4, 5, there's always like next week's going to be just as weird. So,
I mean, especially until like the bye week leading up until week 6. So I definitely agree.
Yeah, week 6, 7 is where you like kind of figure out, okay, this team's actually gonna be really good. This team's gonna be,
but this year is just different.
It is.
There's one, it just feels different. 2, there's so many injuries this season, and I remember us having this conversation last year, because I felt like last year there were a ton of injuries too, but it felt like it just kind of happened throughout the season. Versus we're going into week 4 and it's a laundry list of people who are going and having surgery, out for the season, won't be back till playoffs. Everywhere, every division, you can name someone who is out that you definitely wouldn't expect them to be. And I know we're going to get into the Chargers because we play them this week, but I mean, they're one team specifically that has so many injuries, and I know a lot of them, they're never a healthy team. If you know the Chargers, they have a terrible medical staff, and they really need to be better, even though they're in LA and they have this brand new facility. I expect them to go out and get better people to help them. But there's so many injuries. Justin Herbert with a high ankle sprain, which I did not watch their game either. I just only seen clips of it, but I did see where he went limping off of the field, and I'm like, oh, no, that's not good at all. And then, Joey Bosa was injured. Derwin James suspended for this game, which I know we'll get into that too a little bit later. Also with the Chargers, they have, give me 1 second.
It's both tackles. So
Yeah.
Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are
Yeah,
both out.
both out. And so I'm like, what the heck? Your O-line is depleted. Your quarterback is hurt. Your best defensive player is going to be out. So we'll just see what that looks like going into this week. So,
Yeah, I guess we can touch on that later, but it's a lot with the Chargers right now, and they have this problem every season, it seems like. So something's got to give, right? Like, that's not normal.
well, they went and got a new coach. So maybe, who knows? So the Bengals go to 0-3, which is comedy. And I think there's two things that you could say about it. One, Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for the Commanders, the Heisman winner from last year. He's really good at football. And this is where people are like, you can't say that, it's week 3. No, Jaden Daniels looks damn good, and he showed it yesterday. And
it reminds me of like CJ Stroud last season, which you and I both literally, Jodi, I want to go on record saying last year we said CJ Stroud would be the elite one who should have been the first overall pick. And then this season, we said the same
weeks, but
right. And we said the same thing this season with Caleb Williams going 1 and Jaden Daniels being 2. We thought Jaden Daniels would be the elite one. So I just want to give us a little pat on the back for that.
We say what we say. Now, a lot of people, this goes two ways, because you can say that the Bengals are completely cooked. Their defense is awful. They played terrible defense all yesterday. Cam Taylor-Britt got embarrassed.
I don't understand them.
I think there's a lot of things going on with their organization that they really just need to work on as an organization. I definitely think that there's some drama in there because like Jamar Chase hasn't got paid. Yeah. Now, I will say Joe Burrow did look decent. Joe Burrow looked okay yesterday.
He had a good night. Pretty good, yeah.
You can't blame the game on him because one, the Commanders' defense just stepped up. 2, Joe Burrow, I mean, he threw that very first play to Jamar Chase for like 47 yards or something ridiculous, and he went and scored a touchdown on their corners and safety. So, I mean, it looks like his wrist is fine, but that defense is something that they're definitely going to have to work on, and it could be that it's week 3 and it's early and there's a whole bunch of time that still needs to happen and they need to grow and adjust as a defense. But that run defense was awful.
Awful. Well, all their defense was awful. Actually, both sides of all the defense wasn't good. The offenses were excelling.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that, like, the Bengals defense plays the Chiefs so well, but it's like that's the only opponent they prepare for.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
We're everybody's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know how many Falcons fans I told that
really weekend? Well. What?
You know how many Falcons fans I told that to this weekend? We're your Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, okay. Falcons literally said that. So,
well, I do want to give props though to the Commanders though, because if Cliff Kingsbury dialed it up, Terry McLaurin was a monster. They went crazy yesterday, and yes, it was a home. No, they were on the road. They went crazy on the road in Cincinnati and did that. So, and you could really see the confidence in Jaden Daniels too. It was a 4th and 4 and they were going to like punt. And he was like, no, let me go for it. And then he went and got 8 yards and got the first down. So if that is the beginning of what is happening for the Commanders franchise, I salute them. When you look at the other teams in their division, the Cowboys lost again. They're 0-3. They're 1-2. I apologize. And then the Eagles, they won this week. No,
Eagles are 2-1.
Did they win? Yeah,
barely. But yeah, they won this week. That game was horrible.
Yeah, I'm like, shout out to me for like not watching football at all. But it was I watched Monday night. I watched Thursday and Monday. That's all I got. But if that is what's happening right now in the NFC East, and if the Commanders just continue to get 1% better every single day, then they definitely have a chance to, I don't want to say necessarily be a contender, but if the Cowboys and the Eagles continue to downward spiral like they're doing, and if the Commanders only are better going forward, then it could be really interesting for them at the end of the year.
I can't wait until the Commanders play the Cowboys or the Eagles.
It's going to be really good.
That's going to be a tell of what. Because I think I'm not sold on the Eagles from what I've seen. They barely won that game against the Saints. It was a really
they barely won every game.
It was literally it was 3-0. Sorry.
Yeah,
it was 3. Yeah, it was 3-0 until mid third quarter.
It's coming back to me now. It was terrible. Yeah.
Like,
and their week 1 game was also not good. Like that Friday night game that they had in wherever they were. That wasn't a good game for them either. So we'll see what happens in the NFC East in the next few weeks. The Bills look really good yesterday. Now, I know Lexi hates this, but I actually loved there being 2 games on Monday Night Football, especially because the Bills blew them out. So
that's fair.
I didn't turn off the Bills game. I just turned my volume off because I had the split screen happening. But I turned the volume off of that game.
I actually turned it off. I was like, it's not even worth. It's not even.
So having 2 games yesterday, I don't hate this at all. But I didn't expect. Who did the Bills play?
The Jags.
Did not expect Trevor Lawrence and them to look so bad yesterday.
No,
Trevor Lawrence looked awful. And he got paid a whole bunch of money in this offseason to come out there and to not look good at all. He looks awful.
I don't understand the downfall. And people are calling him Blonde Daniel Jones now.
That's so rude. But I mean, he didn't look good. The conversation is it Trevor Lawrence or is it coaching? Because I don't think Dougie P is going to have a job much longer. There's a stat right now that says they have lost their they've won one of their last 8 games or something.
They haven't won since Thanksgiving.
Yeah, going into last season. So that is somebody's losing their job. And it's not going to be Trevor Lawrence because they just paid him a whole lot of money in this offseason.
And I actually think Trevor Lawrence has the talent. But it's like it's not being I don't know what it is. Something's just really missing there.
You can't say that it's Doug Peterson.
No, I literally don't know what it is.
And Andy Reid's coaching tree. And where I do think that he might not be giving him the best I don't know. I think it's Trevor Lawrence. That's where I'm at.
It's a mix of everything.
Honestly. It's definitely a combination. That O-line looked awful. He was gonna die. We seen what the O-line did to him last year and how many injuries he took. And it doesn't feel like they did much in the offseason to try to fix that for Trevor either. So you see him running for his life a whole lot too.
When Doug Peterson first came in, he had moments where he looked really good.
Yeah. I think that's why he got paid. I think that we are all still blinded by that playoff game when they played Miami.
It must be.
That has to be it.
That has to be it.
That has to be it. The playoff game where they came back. He threw all those picks, though. If you go back and look at that game, Trevor Lawrence did throw 4 picks.
4 picks.
And they still came back and won that game. So I think we all still have those smoke glasses from 2 seasons ago when he did that. Because last year I was like, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the MVP for sure. And this year I'm like,
hell no.
God bless. But the Bills, I do think it's important now we talk about the Bills.
They look very good.
People got mad at me last night on my timeline because I said they have the best offense through 3 weeks.
They do.
And it's accurate.
They do.
Caleb, your Commanders went off yesterday. We were just talking about it. You just missed it. But yeah, the Bills look really good right now. And they have the best offense through 3 weeks. And for Josh Allen to be able to throw 4 touchdowns before halftime, y'all know my hate for Josh Allen. And it's really frustrating that y'all are making me say nice things about the Bills because I don't want to. But they look really freaking good. They look good.
I don't want to either, but yeah.
Now, granted, Josh Allen does do this every regular season. He always does it. What's he going to do in January, right? So in 4 months, we'll come back and be like, remember in September when we were talking about Josh Allen in that week 3 game when he threw 4 touchdowns at the beginning of the 4th quarter and then he couldn't do anything in the playoffs? We're going to have that conversation again. But We would be irresponsible to not give credit where credit is.
Of course, you have to give credit where it's due, right? He has been playing the best quarterbacking throughout his first 3 weeks. As much as we hate to admit that because we're Chiefs fans, so it's not.
And
great,
people thought that maybe he wouldn't because
he would take a step back.
Gone, and then they lost some pieces on their defense too. So it was like, well,
and they
he's definitely
like the thing is they still have key defensive injuries. Like some of their best players are out right now, and they're still so the Bills' defense, honestly, too, is really underrated. I think Josh Allen, rightfully so, gets a ton of credit, but like their defense now, it's the defense that tends to let them down in the playoffs. So
yeah,
we'll see about all that.
Well, and Josh Allen is always good for a pick or a fumble,
but he hasn't even had a pick this season.
No, I mean in postseason.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy is like he hasn't like he usually is kind of like Mahomes where he throws picks every week and he's kind of turning the ball over. He hasn't even done that. So I don't know. I think right now he's in the lead for MVP. Obviously, it's week 3. You don't really talk about it week 3, which is fine, but
well, no, he should be. I said it after. I think I said it going into this game. I was like, all right, y'all, if Josh Allen has a good game on Monday, he's going to be the lead candidate for the MVP race. Yeah. And it's okay to talk about the MVP race because if you go to DraftKings or FanDuel, they already got the MVP numbers up. So it's okay to already talk about those numbers right now, too.
You know what's so weird is like the Bengals always start out extremely slow, but we know they'll probably find a groove and they'll hit it at some point.
They should.
Mm-hmm. And then the Bills always start off extremely hot, blowing teams out. They're benching Josh Allen early on in the season. This happens every year. Can they continue it? That's my question. Is it sustainable?
I can't lie. I was one of those fans that said the Dolphins were going to win the division this year. And I don't know. It's clearly because I don't like Josh Allen. I pick any team that's not the Bills. They're going to win that division. Easy.
Oh, for sure.
They're going to win that division easy.
I think the Jets are going to be good, and I think the Jets have a really easy schedule. So I think they can give them a little bit of a challenge, but it's probably going to be the Bills.
It's probably going to be the Bills. And the Bills they'll probably split with the Jets. But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, the Bills' first 3 games were Cardinals, Dolphins, and Jags. So take that also as you will.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals did put up 28 points on them on their home opener.
And Cardinals have been looking good. They're kind of a sleeper, but
Cardinals
their home opener, the Bills weren't losing that. So
yes, them and the Vikings. What?
It's the Vikings, man. Let's talk about them.
The Vikings have looked so good. Justin Jefferson catching touchdowns and gritty in the end zone again, like he's super healthy. The Vikings are really good. I didn't watch a ton of their game this week either because, travel.
You were out. I get it.
But I was like, huh.
I watched Red Zone for the noon games, and so I didn't catch like a ton of it.
Yeah.
But the stuff I did see, man, their defense is so good. And then their offense is really good. They have this guy. Well, obviously they have Justin Jefferson, who's fantastic, and then best receiver in the league. And then they have Aaron Jones, who's been phenomenal for them. And then they have this guy, I want to say his name is Jalen Naylor.
Oh, yeah.
Something Naylor. Naylor's been fantastic for them. Yeah. And I think Jordan Addison's been out, so he's kind of taken over that role. Mm-hmm. He's been really good. And then Sam freaking Darnold, man, I'm so happy for him.
I got him as a backup quarterback in like all of my fantasy leagues.
Yeah, because
I didn't know if I could take it serious or not. And I'm like, he might have to start over some of these quarterbacks because CJ Stroud has done nothing for me in the last 2 weeks. And I am sad. He had 2 interceptions this week. What?
Yeah. No, I know.
Texans it's early. It's week 3. We could say that for the Texans.
No, I'm right. And I think the Texans will totally be fine. Like, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, for sure.
They played horrible against the Vikings.
Yes, they did. But I also think that people weren't expecting the Vikings to come out the way that they are.
Although I don't think they beat the Niners last week, and I don't think the Texans should have slept on them this week.
Correct. And even though the even though the Niners were missing half of their offense, they still should not have slept on them based off of what they did. Now, the Texans so far, they've played the Colts, who put them through the ringer. They almost lost that game week 1. They played the Bears, who did absolutely nothing against them. Very interesting. And then they only put up 7 against the Vikings. So, I mean, the Texans, they definitely still have some opportunity too, where they can be better. And I think they're still adjusting and figuring that out. And I mean, they got Stephon Diggs, who,
we did laugh at the Raiders, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we pointed and laughed at the Raiders first. Sorry.
That was our opening.
We pointed and laughed at the Raiders first. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the Texans, it's a lot of time. Everybody still has time to get it together. It's a long season of football.
Of course. I see Bengals fans that are like, we're gonna go 14-3. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure you are.
Good luck.
The way that I don't see Bengals fans on my timeline, because I have most of them muted or blocked because they get on my nerves.
All this stuff just pops up for, I don't know. Whatever.
I'm like, anyway. No, I don't want to see it.
But
I don't want to see it. Thank you. Bye.
There's only 5 teams now that are 3-0.
Correct.
So the 3-0 club.
If you haven't noticed, there's only 5 teams that are 3-0, and I think there's 3 teams that are 0-3, which is very interesting. So the 5 teams, and I want to hear y'all too in the comments. So I'm gonna name off the list of the teams that are still 3-0, and I want to hear what team shocked you the most out of the 5 teams that are still 3-0. So of course, Chiefs, Bills, Seahawks, Steelers, Vikings are all currently 3-0. What team are you most surprised by for being 3-0?
For me, it's definitely not the Chiefs and Bills.
Or the Seahawks for me either.
I would say probably the Vikings. I had 100%. No idea they were going to be this good.
Like, what in the world? Shout out to Sam Darnold.
Steelers, I get it because Mike Tomlin. Seahawks, I didn't know. Seahawks, I didn't know for sure because they have a new coach, and I was like, I don't know what to expect. But man, Geno Smith has been balling.
Geno Smith has been good, and that defense is still always good.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, they have a good defense, really good secondary too. So.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole.
Yeah, probably the Vikings have to be the most shocking.
Definitely the Vikings for me, especially because they play 2 gauntlet teams to me. I think the Texans are a gauntlet team for this season, not through 3 weeks. And I also think the Niners are a gauntlet team for this season. Now, granted, I know the Niners had all those injuries against them playing that game, but I feel like no, because I actually really like the Vikings head coach too.
I do too.
I think he got out. I think Shanahan just got out.
KOC.
Literally. So, but the Vikings, they have an interesting schedule ahead. I do think that Jordan Love comes back this week and plays against them. Because we have Vikings
wait for that
this week, and then you have Jets and Vikings, and then Lions and Vikings. So their next 3 weeks are really going to be telling to what type of team this.
Jets and Vikings should be very telling for both.
Absolutely. So that'll be good. So all right, I think that's enough about the NFL. Right?
Enough about all of y'all, right?
It was a good week. It was a busy week, but let's take a moment to say hi to our sponsor. Am I supposed to be reading something?
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to pull it up. Let me pull it up real quick.
You can read it later. We got to do this twice.
Okay.
Shout out to Autograph. If you have not downloaded the app yet, it is one of our favorite sports apps where you can go on and see all of the information about all of your favorite sports teams that are currently happening right now. So if you're in Kansas City, the Royals are going to the playoffs. Can you believe it? So you can have the Royals, you can have the Chiefs, you can have Sporting KC, you can have NWSL, which is the women's soccer league, the Kansas City Current. You can have all of your favorite sports teams in one app, and it's going to tell you all the information about them. All of your local podcasts are on there too about your favorite teams, which includes the Kingdom Queens, hence our promo code. Download the app, Autograph, promo code, the Kingdom's Queens.
Perfect.
And don't forget to do it while you're sitting here listening, y'all. Y'all know I have to tell y'all to do things twice. But let's get into it. Chiefs Falcons week 3. First road game of the season. The boys went to Atlanta and they played on Sunday Night Football. I was there.
You were there.
It was interesting. So let me just tell y'all very quickly. Whole lot of Chiefs fans went because this was the Chiefs takeover game. Even though we travel really well anyway. So there's that. It was so loud in the stadium. They had their roof open. It was hot because it was like 85 degrees and humid. It's not like Texas.
And they
It was
opened it.
dry. It was so hot. I was like, I don't like this. It's super muggy. I will say though, even though it was really loud in there, I feel like all of their seats were not full. I was expecting like a sellout, and I do not think it was a sellout. And even when I kind of went back and watched just like different videos over the last like 24 hours, I'm like, yeah, no, it's not sold out in there at all. And I knew that being in the stadium. It was super cool though. They had a pregame performance by T.I. Candy Burris sang the national anthem. She sounded a hot mess, respectfully. His daughter Harris sang with him. She sang Rihanna's part. That was great. The halftime performance, which wasn't a performance, they introduced Arthur Blanket to his Ring of Honor.
When we say this was like their Super Bowl, my God.
Yeah, it was a whole bunch of things happening. Samuel L. Jackson was there. I don't know if they show him on TV at all.
I think
was
he said
definitely there.
Lil Jon was there? Lil Wayne?
Yes, Lil Jon was also there. He was on the mic during the third quarter. Samuel L. Jackson actually introduced Arthur Blank to the Ring of Honor, which was very interesting. Didn't expect that at all. They gave away like hot dogs and chips and drinks that were gone by like the third quarter. I didn't eat them because I don't eat hot dogs, but one of my friends said it and I kind of laughed. And then, yeah, the atmosphere there, the stadium is very dope. Like the stadium is so cool. And I think I would have enjoyed it way more if the roof was closed versus it being open. Yeah. But it was really good. And there's like not a bad seat at all in there. So I definitely recommend everybody to go to Mercedes-Benz. We won't be there for another probably 4 to 8 years. But if you go for
literally
like
probably 8
years or something like that, they definitely sell out for college games too. So 10 out of 10 experience, 9 out of 10 experience because it was super hot. But it was great. It's always great to go on the road and get a W. Absolutely. So thank you, Atlanta, for taking care of me because we kicked it the whole entire weekend.
Yeah. Thanks for showing our girls
the game. Let's get into the game. The Chiefs did leave with the win. God bless. I feel like that game from beginning to end was stressful. There were a lot of things that we did well on defense and had some opportunity on offense. I think I could just start off by saying that. But yeah, let's start there. So what were your thoughts? Let's start with the defense because the defense, there's more positive things to say than the offense.
Oh man. Yeah, it's always a nail biter, right? Like it can never just be a blowout, which
never.
Is although I think the Falcons are a good team. So
they are for sure.
That for what it's worth, right? But I think the defense, they started out where they gave up a touchdown right away, which is fine. I kind of expected it. And the Falcons drove down well on the field, which was good for them. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, they have a ton of weapons on that team.
Yes, they do.
And then Kirk Cousins, once they get that thing figured out even more, I think they're going to be a really good team.
And they looked good. They look good on Sunday going against the back-to-back Super Bowl champions who you haven't played in 4 years. The Falcons looked really good. And I mean, Kirk Cousins did too. So, I mean, they definitely, I don't have anything negative to say about the Falcons at all. Like, I definitely think that there were some things that they could have done better, especially like maybe throwing the ball instead of running the ball, and then maybe Kirk Cousins getting out of the pocket and things of that nature, just like the small minimal things. But
I think it's hard for Kirk because he is coming off that injury and he's not like
absolutely
wanting to do a ton to risk further injury, which I totally get. So I think our D-line definitely showed out. They put a ton of pressure on him all the time to get the ball out quick. And he did sometimes, but then sometimes he did not. And that was a problem. So
Yeah, I mean, Chris Jones and
Sean Wharton had an underrated game too on the D line. He was
another week in a row
again.
where Sean Wharton was really good on the defensive line. Him and Nick and Leo and George and Chris, when they're on the field at the same time, it's a problem. Like, they're really causing havoc out there. And it was really interesting to see. Of course, Nick Bolton, when Nick Bolton is healthy, this is who he is. And we've seen what he's been the last 2 weeks. And I'm not really sure what people are expecting him to be. He's going to be the person that's going to stop the run. He's going to be the person that's going to get in the gap and get in the way and slow the game down for the offense. Correct. So I don't know what people are expecting him to be and what they want his role to look like. But that's not what his specialty is. His specialty is doing exactly what it is, and it's being in the way, clogging up the gap, stopping the run, getting his hands in the way, putting pressure on the quarterback. That's what you're going to get from him. And when you see him and Turk lined up next to each other, it's insane. Like, they're doing so good this season. And Chris Jones, I mean, you can go back and look at them. The offensive line double teamed him, of course, so much. And he's still dipping and twisting and getting his way out and getting pressure on Kirk Cousins. Now, I wish Turk Wharton was the only one who had a sack. Right?
I think it might have been even credited to Mike Dana, but
positive. Like, okay, very high possibility. I'm like,
but Mike Dana actually, like, they all had a good game. They all got a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
it was just a matter of finishing it, but it's all right.
Now, so defensive line, blessed. I think they did great. Now, if we go and we talk about the secondary, Shamari Connor has just been very good this whole season.
Oh my gosh.
He's been very, very good this whole entire football season. And it shows who he can be on this team, especially when he's healthy, and the impact that he's made. Last week, he had the scoop and score. This week, he had he got it, and then he gave it to Jalen Watson. So whatever. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's like something they love to do. I do love
the awareness,
our secondary, the awareness. Like, we did it. I mean, I think they were hoping it would work out like it did against the Dolphins last season, where we got that score against them and handoff. But yeah, I loved that he was just like, "Oh, I'm going down. Okay, no, get it to Jalen Watson," and Jalen Watson runs for like 5 or 10 more yards. So.
When I say I do not have that type of awareness ever, there's no way I would have been like, "Oh yeah, here you go." Like, what?
Oh, okay, here you go. Yeah,
because if we would have fumbled, we would have all been very angry. If they would have fumbled the ball,
right. But
we would have been like, "What in the heck
it was going to be a fumble?" Like, they had control. It was good.
We would have been like, "What in the heck are y'all doing?" If he would have did that. So, no, I mean, very, very proud of this defense. But I mean, I still have my worries about the secondary. I do think they looked better this week.
I think they look better. I mean, we have to remember they have a lot of weapons.
They have a ton of weapons.
Guys are great players. So
absolutely. I mean, and I think it's very clear too that Jalen Watson is the cornerback 2 next to Trent. Yeah. And I mean, Najee looked good besides that one route that him and Drew and Justin Reed were confused on, and they went and scored a touchdown. But I also feel like Drew Tranquil was playing kind of out of where he normally plays too. Yeah. So I don't know if Najee was depending on if Najee was depending on Drew to do something. It should have been. I have words to say about Justin Reed. I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't care. Justin Reed has not looked good the last few games. Justin Reed can tackle. He hits hard. That boy can tackle. The boy will knock somebody out with his power. But in coverage, he has not been good at all. Brian Cook, he's been great. Love Brian Cook. And then, especially when you have there was just so many times I was so frustrated. I know that people can't actually see my face right now that are listening in, but there were so many times that I was just incredibly frustrated with Justin Reed. Now, granted, I know that he is coming off of this injury. I know that it is week 3. I know there's still a lot of time to adjust and adapt and get in your way and blah, blah, blah. I totally get all of that. And granted, we have played 3 really good teams the first 3 weeks
Oh,
too.
yeah. It was Pinnell that got the sack, by the way. Mike Pinnell got the sack credit.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
He's been great too. I was like, it was someone. I couldn't remember who it was. That's my fault for just assuming that it was him. But no, I mean, there's definitely some opportunity there, and I think that we're just gonna have to figure out what the option is with Justin. He's definitely not as fast as he used to be, and it could be because he's coming off of that injury. But
I don't think he's horrible. I just think I hope he finds his step again because he was good last season. He was. He had his moments where
okay last season. Yeah, I mean, he was serviceable. I think Justin Reed hits really hard. And I think that he was good in the playoffs.
He does, and he's not a safety that gets picks, right? So like we're struggling getting picks in this.
Not at all. He's no, and you know, I told you about this the other day, how frustrated I was because Tyrann Mathieu, who is older and no longer is on this team, is down in New Orleans. He has like 3 picks already on the season. And I'm just like, I thought we didn't want to pay Tyrann because he's old and he's over 30. But he is down in New Orleans balling out.
He was the pick guy, yeah.
And we're not seeing that right now from our safeties. So, again, I would love to see more Brian.
Although we did see it from Shamari Connor this week. He got a pick.
Shamari Connor has been great this week and last week.
He's been fantastic.
I have no beef with him. He's been balling.
Yeah.
He's been balling. Let him be the starter. Okay, so
he's been I will say Justin Reed has good leadership. I'll give him that. Like he's very
okay.
He's good at that. I'm gonna give him that.
I mean, okay. Tyrann Mathieu was a good leader too. And he did a lot in our community too.
I wanted Tyrann Mathieu to stay. I was a proponent of that.
I mean, and I think my thing is, and I know you don't like me talking negatively about Justin Reed. I just need him to be a better safety.
Care, but
I'm like, I just need him to be a better safety. So. He hasn't been good, and it's early. So there's still time, and I know that he's coming off of his injury. So I'll give him a little grace there because we've played 3 really good teams. But, yeah, I would like to see more from him because Trent is also a great leader out there, and he is really telling those DBs where to be and how to act. And I want to say Joshua Williams was not great either this week.
He's not been great either.
No.
He's had moments, but like...
Don't know what's going on with him.
I think it's Jalen Watson that's going to be stepping up, and then Nazi Johnson behind him,
which is fine. And we called that before the season.
And Joshua Williams is actually really, really good on special teams, so I like him on special teams a ton.
Correct. So that's what you say.
Brings value there. Yeah, what's all good. I also want to say I want to see Drew Tranquil step up a little more. I feel like maybe he's not quite getting his share of. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. He just hasn't done a ton that's been like stand out to me so far this season. And I love Drew Tranquil, but
that's how you could tell Willie Gay is gone.
Yes.
Because Drew Tranquil and Willie Gay together were really good.
I literally said that in the offseason. I'm like, I think it's a mistake to let Willie Gay go. And he hardly signed for much on the Saints. And I think he would have been worth keeping, to be honest, but whatever.
I think Leo
Chenal has stepped up a ton, so he's been cool.
Willie Gay was dynamic with Bolton and Drew.
Yes.
So, I mean, those 3 together, that trio.
And then imagine Leo another year with, it would have been.
Yeah.
But
and whatever. Again, now I do think that we will get from Drew. I think Drew Tranquil is definitely going to get there. Like you see him slowly improving every single week, and we knew that there was going to be an adjustment there. It was not going to be the exact same with Willie Gay being gone. We knew it was going to be an adjustment there, just like we knew it was going to be an adjustment with Snead being gone too. So they'll definitely get there, but there's opportunity. And I will say, if we did not play the Bengals and the Ravens and the Falcons the first 3 weeks, if it was like the Panthers or the Cardinals, you know what I mean? I would be like, all right, y'all can't be out here looking like this. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck? We definitely,
but literally,
those first 3 games. So, all right.
And I really, I shouldn't even. This is such a random comment, but I really wish the Cardinals would have utilized Marvin Harrison Jr.'s versus the Bills. That's all I have to say. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, literally. Hi, you have a number one receiver, the number one draft pick in the.
But all right,
good job. Thanks for remembering that you had a receiver. So let's get into the offense. Ending with, for me, I feel like the defense was like a 7 out of 10, and that's good. So I'll take a 7 out of 10.
I mean, they allowed 17 points.
Yeah.
They haven't given up more than over 30 points.
They had
over
a turnover.
Points.
Created a turnover.
Created a turnover. Haven't given up over 28 points in like 19 games or something crazy. So
yeah, I'll take it. I'm fine with that. And they're technically, if you look at them compared to last year, they're technically on the same track as last year too. Through the first 3 games last year compared to the first 3 games this year, I'm like, all right. And Charles Amen, who isn't back yet. When he's back, he's probably
just wait
in the league. So let's talk about this week's offense. So Patrick Mahomes came out in his press conference immediately following the game, talking about how he knows that his footwork is not where it's been, and the biggest opportunity for him right now is his accuracy. Yeah. And I think we can all agree to that. And I love that he has accountability on that.
Very accountable.
It's very true.
Yeah.
I read something earlier, literally right before I logged into the podcast, and it made me go, you know what? You might be right. Okay. I read.
What?
It said Patrick Mahomes is having to adjust back to accuracy because for so long he had to throw the ball in MVS's chest because MVS couldn't catch, especially on deep balls. And I was like, damn, that might be right. I could see how that could be an adjustment. When you had a whole bunch of guys last year who could not catch the ball and he had to throw it in their chest. Remember when he had to do that consistently with Tyreek Hill? Throw the ball in his chest for him to catch the ball. And now he has a lot of dudes on this roster who can all catch and they're fast and they know how to go up and get the ball. They're not used to catching the ball so low. They're used to going up and getting it or it being directly to them. So when I read that, I was like, oh my Lord, that's probably very accurate. So it just made me think. I said, okay. All right.
That's interesting. I still feel like he's getting like spooks of last season or something. Like he's a little like a little paranoid kind of thing. Like not fully trusting. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
He thinks he's going to throw an interception and he does.
That or like either that or they're going to drop the ball, like one or the other. That's how he's playing to me in my head. Like when I'm watching him, he's like playing kind of scared, which I hate to see because you're not like that and you're so much better than that. And we know you're better than that. Like we've seen it from you over and over and over again seasons before. So I don't know why he's playing like I think he's just really in his own head.
He 100% is. And again, right? It's early. They're still adjusting. You have a team full of new receivers. Your offensive line is the same, except your left tackle, which could be
a little bit of a factor. Yeah.
Because all off season you had Kingsley to the left of you. And Wanye did have some snaps. But you had Kingsley to the left of you, and Wanye played the whole entire game. So that could be it too. Not necessarily trusting your left side and what's happening there.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that's it.
I think it's like a mix of everything, to be honest. And then probably factor in a little bit of play calling too. So I think it's a mix of it all. We've watched like the all 22 tape. A lot of us have, and we've seen there are receivers open. Like Xavier Worthy was getting pretty open on some things.
Then that's the question.
Travis was getting open on some plays. Like there's some things that are open.
Is it play calling or is it Patrick only looking for the check down?
He seems to be looking for the check down a lot, and I don't know why he's playing like that.
Because there was a play, of course, everybody seen it, right? Where Travis Kelce was wide open by himself. Then there was a play where Rashee Rice was wide open by himself. And then there was a play where Xavier Worthy was wide open by himself. And that all just came from this game alone.
Yeah.
Even where he tried to force the ball to Justin Watson and Sky Moore was over there and he still had Travis open to his right and didn't even look his direction.
Yeah.
There's some things that I'm like, I don't want to say I'm genuinely concerned about, but I'm just kind of like, well, Pat, I feel like you overcomplicating it because one, the line is holding for you. I feel like he has his eyes set on one receiver that he knows he can trust based off of last season, right? And he's just forcing the ball to them, which would be Rashee Rice this year.
Yeah. And I think he is
balling.
I think he's slowly opening his trust back up to Juju Smith-Schuster. It was really nice to see him get a touchdown.
And Juju was blocking his butt off this week.
He was. Juju was fantastic.
He was out there blocking his butt off. I don't want to hear no Juju slander ever.
He's such a team guy. He's such a team player. I love Juju. I'm glad to have him back. I think Patrick, the more he can just build trust with these guys, the better.
Yeah.
I think he built more trust with P. Ryan this week. I think obviously it was Carson's deal. Justin Watson plays a great role where he just does those random, whatever you need him to do, he's going to go in there and do. And Patrick trusts him too, which is nice. But even he missed him on like a deep, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just been weird. It's just been a weird offense. I don't really know what to make of it. And I honestly think you can chalk it up to almost everything. I think it's like the reads he's not making. I think it's a little bit of play calling. I think it's a little bit of he's in his own head. I think he's trying to be the hero every time and he doesn't need to be. Like there's people getting open. You just have to learn to retrust them again because I know we don't.
But then it's like it makes sense from an aspect of you went through training camp and you had Hollywood Brown, and so there were a lot of things dialed up for him for this season, and now he's out completely. You went through training camp, you had a lot of expectations for Isaiah Pacheco, and now he's out completely. You had to go out, you had to bring back Kareem Hunt, who I think is going to score a touchdown this week. I know we're not talking about Chargers yet. You had to go out, you had to bring back Juju, which again, someone else who has been on this team has a ring with us. He's going out and getting the guys that he knows is going to be that role player that we need them to be, depending on where they are on the field. And everything that you worked on all season since April doesn't matter today on September 24th because you have a whole new list of guys.
That's the thing.
Rashee Rice is really stepping into wide receiver one, clearly. Like, he's wide receiver one right now. And even though Travis is out there and he's like a distraction, Patrick said he had like 2 or 3 guys on him at a time. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, Pat. No, he didn't. And I know that sounds like
there were plenty of times he did. There were plenty of times he did, but
not
like
nearly as much as he would in years past.
Yeah, there were times
not like week 1. So,
open.
like, I get where Patrick is saying that, but there were also multiple times where he didn't even look Travis's direction. So I'm like, and if you go back and just watch film, you see that there were times where Travis
There's
was
plenty of times he's open. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, Patrick, like,
and so I want to add on a little bit just to the Hollywood Brown thing. So I really do think they like constructed the offense around having the options of Hollywood, Rashee, Travis, Pacheco. You lose Pacheco week 2, which is a huge loss. He's such a heartbeat of our offense right now. And then Hollywood doesn't even get the chance, but I think so I think Xavier Worthy is kind of having to try to fill that role of what Hollywood would have been, but he's a rookie, and so he's going to have some mistakes, and it's growing pains. That's just kind of how it goes.
Because he's looking good so far.
He has been good, and he actually got open a lot last week too, but I think Patrick, I think if it was Hollywood running out there, I think Patrick would like throw without hesitancy. I think he's a little less trusting of a rookie, which whatever.
He got picked off last week by Cam Taylor-Britt
because of throwing to him. So I think it's like just stuff, and I think that was more on him last week than it even was on Worthy. But I just think he just has to find trust. He has to be able to rely on these guys to make these big catches and not second guess himself with interceptions. And it's like, I know we played Justin Simmons this last week in Atlanta and he always picks him off. So I'm not surprised that he picked him off, but like, are we gonna have to deal with this every single week? An interception? Like
Yeah.
it's getting exhausting.
Anytime
Like I would love to
interception
just,
every week from
I just
Patrick.
want him to have one game to just go back and have a statement game to where the league is like, okay, this is why, yes. Because it's, I mean, I understand the Chiefs fatigue is so real right now. Like people are so
Not to
tired
me.
of this. Not to us, but the world is tired of us. The world is tired of
Because
us.
we really should be like 2-1. We should have a loss.
No. We find ways to win.
I had us losing to Atlanta. That was the L I
did
had.
too, actually.
To
but,
go out and get it. I was like, ooh,
technically.
good job.
I thought that was a game we could lose. And I think, but I think we genuinely keep finding ways to win these games. And whether that's a team committing a penalty and we take advantage of it, well, don't commit your penalty or whatever it is.
Penalty, and they gave y'all 3 makeup calls in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left and got y'all down the field and y'all didn't score. So
you like did the weirdest play call, the weirdest play call on 4th and 1, whatever.
Just so you know, and there were multiple times where we either punt the ball or gave the ball back.
Yeah.
And Patrick spoke about that too. He was like, we should have won more than what we won by. And he was like, a lot of those mistakes were on me, so I'll take that. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that you know that. And I know Patrick is going to make those adjustments and get back. If there's no quarterback in the NFL that I trust, that's the one that I trust. More than
I was also saying the other night, like, I'm glad the Chiefs are winning right now. It might not be pretty, but I'm glad they're not peaking early, because the teams that peak in September, you don't want that.
I think Andy Reid is the funniest person in America, and he is like, let's do some random stuff today. Because I was listening to something earlier and I was dying laughing because they were talking about the 3 receiving touchdowns that we have for the season. It is Xavier Worthy, it is Rashee Rice, and Y.A. Morris. Like, what is happening right now? Why does Y.A. Morris have it?
We had 2 more this week in Rashee and Juju. That's
so
5.
It's like, okay, when you look back at that and you look at how we're going this week, Patrick, we're definitely spreading the ball out. It feels like Andy is like, I'm not going to unleash and give y'all everything. We can do the minimum with what we have and figure it out. And honestly, if we can just control penalties and control turnovers and control all of the interceptions, this team will be fine. The things that we have to clean up are technique. It's not the playbook. It's not the route running. Clearly, it's not the route running, because they're doing what they need to do. It's a matter of Patrick actually getting them the ball and being accurate on his throw.
Part of the ongoing theory I've had for a few years now is Andy Reid likes to try fun stuff during the regular season, but not stuff you're going to do in the playoffs, right? And I think our team, I think the biggest thing for them to get over this season is not getting bored in the regular season, right? So Andy Reid,
Patrick definitely does that.
I think they already kind of are. I think they're like, just get through these first few games. We just have to win. That's all we have to do. Play good enough to win, get to the playoffs, get to your 3-peat. I literally think that's kind of the mindset. And so I think Andy Reid, he's going to be throwing at you his most basic plays, and it's not going to be anything fancy. You'll get the random Y.A. Morris touchdown, right? That's like fun. But I think overall, I think it's more just like, get the win, don't show your cards, get in, get out. And get
so boring. That's why Patrick Mahomes keeps throwing picks, because he's bored.
He's bored.
My season tickets cost too much for y'all to be bored. And we're not going to have the explosive plays. The explosive plays have not been there. And I think people were expecting that because of who we went and got this offseason. And it ain't happening yet.
Well, I think here we are again, where Rashee Rice, he is an explosive player, but he's not the stretch the field guy. So he's going to get you your slot receiving, and he's kind of taking that role of Kelsey a little bit, where he's getting those
100%
kind of plays when he gets a ton of yards after catch, right? And so
a lot of plays that Rashee have are ones that you would normally see Travis have.
So I think Hollywood was brought in here to be that guy, the trusting guy to stretch the field, and then Worthy was going to have his moments and have his room to grow. Worthy has to figure it out right away now because Hollywood's out. And that's tough. It's tough for a rookie, but like I said, he'll have growing pains, but he'll get there. We've seen the talent. We know he has it. So he will get there. I have no doubt.
He is, if you did not know, Rashee Rice is the second leading highest receiver right now in the NFL behind Nico Collins. Yeah. Nico Collins has 338 yards. Rashee Rice has 288 yards. So even though he isn't that fast, super speedy receiver that we need him to be, he knows how to go down the field and go up and get the ball. Now, granted, he has a drop this season. Xavier has a drop this season. No. Juju has a drop. Everybody has a drop this season. Literally every receiver has at least one drops. But it's okay. It's definitely not nearly as bad as it was last season. And we're not seeing it consistently through every single game. Who is your player of the game for Chiefs versus Falcons? So we can get into Chiefs Chargers.
We already touched on Shamari Connor. He had his 10 tackles, his interception, fantastic. I'm going to give it to Carson Steele because he stepped up tremendously.
And he missed his sister's wedding.
Yeah, missed his sister's wedding, they were watching from the reception, like watching Carson, which is
so
amazing.
Funny.
I mean, he's literally an undrafted free agent, UDFA, coming onto the Chiefs, the champions, who get tested harder than almost any team week after week. This is his third NFL game ever, and he's already, what was the stat I read to you the other night? He's already like getting like some of the best separation you could get as a running back in this league. He's like already the top of that right now.
Yeah.
And the top of that,
I was reading something earlier, and the Chiefs have, I think, the most accuracy on run
blocking.
No, that's not it. But they have the most accuracy with the run game right now. So between, I think they said like the longest run was Isaiah Pacheco, but it was only like 11 yards, and then Pat was right behind him with like something, and then Carson is averaging like 6 or 7, and I'm like, okay, so they have the most accurate.
He had 17 carries for 74 yards.
That's a lot of freaking carries.
It's a lot. Like, that's a big workload.
I'm so glad that we get Kareem Hunt this week because that needs to be divvied up. You can't run that man into the ground already in his week 3. I kind of thought that last week about Isaiah Pacheco when he had like 25 carries or 30 carries or something last week.
He was doing so well.
Yeah. That many carries, though, by week 2, I was like, oh, I'm not a fan of that. Even though you're right, Carson Steele, he went crazy. And
he did so good. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Like, that's really awesome. Too. Your third ever NFL game, and you're like leading the league in some things. And
he's so angry.
He was angry. He just really stepped into the role. It's awesome.
I think for me, if I had to pick an offensive player, it's probably Rashee Rice. He stepped into that number 1 receiving role. And as Chiefs fans, everybody always says Travis Kelce is wide receiver 1. It is now Rashee Rice, and people just kind of need to accept that. So,
yeah.
But I think that he knew, I think the game plan was all off season for this to be his transition period. And he's really stepped into it. He has another 100-yard game, another touchdown, and 12 more recs after this Falcons game, going against a really good defense. So, and adjusting and being available when Patrick is scrambling and running for his life. So for him to be able to do that, it's almost, you got to say Rashee Rice at that point.
No, he's been phenomenal.
Good. And I need him to stay healthy.
I know.
He has to stay healthy. Sorry, Rashee. Go home and play with the baby. Who's your defensive player of the game?
So I'll give it to Shamari. 10 total tackles, 5 solo, 5 assists, and an interception. Just phenomenal. Week after week, he continues to stand out. Like,
he's having a great season. I mean, you can't knock that at all. And if this is just the warm up to what we're going to get from him all year, okay, sign me up.
Well, and I saw like Bengals were like doubting him last week. They're like, oh yeah, throw it at Chamari. I'm like, oh yeah, go try him. And then sure enough, he's been a stud, and he was a stud late last year too. And in the Super Bowl, he had his moments. Like, so I'm really excited for what this season holds for him. But he's definitely my player of the game.
No, for sure, defensive player. If defense, I'm going Mizzou, M-I-Z-Z-O-U. I'm going with Bolton, just because he pretty much was the reason why we won the game. He saved the game for us. Someone said something in the comments though that they're 100% right. If you did not see Matt Ariza go up and jump and reach for the ball, that could have been game
disaster,
changing, ending. Oh my God. There's a picture floating around of him like 2 feet off the ground catching the ball from a bad snap.
Which, like, James Winchester never does that.
Ever.
So, I don't know what happened. But
very surprising to see, but going back and watching it, because I couldn't see it that well at the stadium, I was like, oh my Lord, that
what? Yeah.
100%. So we got to give him some love too, because that was insane. Special teams has been really good for us here lately. So shout out to them.
Very much so.
We could have lost that game. They could have got the ball at like the 40 and win.
Oh, and then Butker missed an extra point, which like never happens. So
right. And God bless. I was arguing with someone about the best kicker in the league, and then I was like, damn it. Even though he's the best kicker in the league, he missed one, and they were like, no. I was like, fine. Let's have this conversation again in 4 weeks.
Fine. Whatever. Yeah. Talk about it later.
So the Chiefs are getting ready to head to LA.
Los Angeles.
Week 4, we finally are just now seeing our first division game of the season. And, you know,
I'm ready.
I remember us talking about before this game started, how healthy was Justin Herbert going to be? But that was based off of his plantar fasciitis, not this high ankle sprain. Is it the same leg?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
So the Chargers game, which is normally very, very interesting for us.
Well, we were all expecting it to have. We were like, they have a new coach in Jim Harbaugh, he's been good for them the first 2 weeks. Granted, they played the Raiders and the Panthers, so take that what you will. And then this last week they kept it.
Oh shit, I'm muting you and not me. My bad.
Oh.
You said in last week they
so they played the Steelers and they played well up until the second half. Second half, the Chargers' total offense had -5 yards. Justin Herbert didn't go out till the fourth quarter with his injury. Now, I don't know when their tackles went out. They might have gone out sooner, and that could have had a play in it, right? But man, like, I don't know what the Steelers do have a very good defense, so that's one thing.
Yes, they do.
And I did think the Chargers would lose this game, so I'm not surprised. But
I don't know what to expect from this game. I feel like Justin Herbert's going to play because there's no way he's not going to play against the Chiefs.
I think he will, but like he's going to be so fragile, and then you don't have your 2 starting tackles. That's risky to play your quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
but then it's the Chiefs, so like, do you not? Like,
it's a division game.
Division against the best team in the league.
They technically were the number 1 in the AFC West until they lost. So, I mean, who knows
and then if they lose
both teams. If it's next week, which I don't know their schedule, I don't see Justin Herbert missing at all. He'll probably be limited practice all week this week. They'll probably give him a ton of treatment. They'll give him a ton of treatment. And the great thing about it for them is they're at home and they don't have to actually travel this week, which means he'll be able to really get all of that extra treatment, whatever work that he needs to be prepared to go. Now, granted, I do think that he will definitely start. The question is will he finish the game? But the Chargers, they got the Chiefs this week, the Broncos next week, then the Cardinals, then the Saints. So it's like, where do you take a break? They can't really take a break, especially when you have 2 division games back to back.
When's their bye? Does it say? I'm like, that's anytime soon.
Oh, their bye is week 6.
Oh, all right.
So they're
so that could be good.
And then bye and then Broncos. They play the Broncos October 13th. So there has to be a bye in there somewhere.
Behind me.
What happened?
So this dog is behind me.
Oh, yeah. So they played the Chiefs and then they have a bye and then they have the Broncos. So I fully expect Justin to be a go this week, get that extra few days with the bye week, and then be able to come back and play against the Broncos the week following. Now, with their 2 tackles being out, that is very, very interesting. Definitely was not expecting that at all. And then with Derwin James being suspended, I think that's comedy. I think that is the funniest thing ever. I love that he is suspended this game. He's a dirty player. That's what he gets. See you when I see you. See you at Arrowhead next time.
Literally, I think it's so funny that he literally
hilarious
lowers his head into, like, he did it twice in that game against the Steelers, which is why he got suspended.
Yeah.
And then people want to say, oh, well, it's rigged for the Chiefs because who do they play next? The Chiefs. I'm like,
people are ridiculous.
Oh my God, man. Like, it's not.
Thank you, Roger Goodell.
He shouldn't have. Don't play dirty if you don't want to be suspended. I don't know what else to say.
Dirty freaking player. Thank you, Roger Goodell, for suspending Derwin James this week going into the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
I'm actually just going to start.
Actually, my hope for this week is that Travis Kelce absolutely cooks because he always cooks the Chargers. But then without Derwin James, like his favorite safety, I think Travis Kelce could absolutely cook this week. And I hope for his sake he has a freaking redemption game because he looked defeated on the sideline last week. So
yeah.
And I want good things for Travis. So of course I want good things for everyone on our team. But like I really want to see him go off because I know he's wanting it and needs it. And I think Patrick needs it for his confidence. I just feel like we get a Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes game. I feel like they're just going to be like, that's it. Like,
yeah, because it's been a mess. So I don't know what
a mess. So I would love to see that and mix in some Rushy and Worthy and just get these guys go. Like this could be a really good bounce back game for us. That's my hopes.
Bounce back? We haven't lost.
Well, I know I say that as we're 3-0. Bounce back and like, you know what I mean? Like
this could be a game that gets Patrick's confidence.
Yes, a confidence builder. That's what I should say, not bounce back.
That gets his confidence back. I totally agree. Going on the road in LA and winning in 325, which is great because that means I can watch the Sunday game. I don't have to stay up super late. I like this game, especially with Kareem Hunt being back. I think this is a really good
so we should talk about
warm-up game for him. Like, all right. Like, and of course, I still think he might be on limited snaps because it's week 1 for him.
And Andy Reid
in a while.
Andy Reid's going to have that man on limited snaps. We know.
But he's definitely, especially because what we've seen from Carson and P. Ryan last week.
Yeah. So, and honestly, the 3 of them, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Working back in slowly.
Yeah.
Have some fun against that defensive line for the Chargers. But yeah, I think I don't have much to say against this game because the Chargers are so injured, and I don't even know who their receiver is right now.
I guess
it's yeah, and he's having he had his first touchdown last week. So I mean, not last week, 2 weeks ago. So okay, but yeah, I think our secondary also maybe has a really good game this week. I do think that this could be a confidence building game. And then you go into your next week.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I think so.
And then you go into your bye. So I mean, I still have the Chiefs being undefeated through the bye. Shoot. I had us losing to the Niners, and I don't think that's going to happen either.
It's so funny the way the season plays out, right? So the Niners are just decimated with injuries, and that's not fun.
That is the Chargers.
That's awful, actually, but they're worse, probably.
Yeah, could you imagine not having Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown?
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of close. I mean, we don't have.
We kind of are close.
They don't have CMC. We don't have Isaiah Pacheco. They don't have Debo.
They didn't have Debo, George Kittle, or CMC last week. So it's basically what we have.
And Brock Purdy was hurt.
Also, if we lost Travis Kelce.
And Brock Purdy was hurt.
Which, okay, so I will say,
I still trust one-legged Patrick.
If we had lost Travis, I think people want to downplay what he does on our team, right? He is such a decoy that if we lost Travis Kelce last week, let's say, that it would.
No, he's a
Rashee Rice would have had men all over him all night.
He's definitely a distraction for sure. Yeah. But I still think that we have opportunity. So I also want to see this week. I want to see more Noah Gray. I want to see more Justin Watson. Like, there's still a lot of guys.
And I want to see more Juju.
A lot of burn. Juju looked great last week, especially you see what his impact is on the field. So I would like to continue to see those reps with him. And this game is just so early in the season. I can't even say maybe it could be a good game where some of our guys could get some rest. No, it's only been 3 weeks. So I expect them to go out there and fully play. But I think this game is going to be very vanilla.
It's going to be vanilla. And I just hope we don't sleep on it with all these guys out. I hope our guys go in with a purpose to take full advantage of it. That's what
I don't think we will because Patrick's not happy with his performance.
Yeah.
He's not even speaking about anybody else. He's not happy with how he looks right now. So I expect him to go out and do his thing. And I don't think it's going to be fixed this week either. I think Patrick will be in his bag after the bye week. I think more weeks to figure it out. And that's okay. That's okay.
I do think though. I think this will be a confidence builder, and I think they should clearly win.
They better win.
I hope it's like to the point where it doesn't come out to a late call and that kind of thing in the final.
I'm so tired of now. I know we are not talking about the Falcons game anymore. But last week, do you not remember there was an article that came out that Adam Schefter posted, and they spoke about how that Sunday night game for the Falcons was one of the biggest games that they had since 2017, and the refs
all eyes on you.
They went into the game, and the refs knew that this was gonna have to be a game that they called tightly based off of the importance of this game, which I couldn't understand because it was only week 3. But I was like, okay,
yeah.
But they said that, so I'm not surprised by any of that. And for those people that think the Chiefs got all of these penalties for them, go look at the box score and then come talk to me on the timeline. If you know how to find it, go to.
We had like 69 yards to their like 41.
66 to 41. Yeah. So I'm like, feel free to go look at the number of penalties that were there. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into some of the week 3 games that we're looking forward to. It's funny because I'm not looking forward to the Chiefs-Chargers game because everybody's hurt. I'm like, it's going to, of course, I'm going to be watching.
I am because I'm always excited, but
I'm going to be watching the Chiefs game. But
wait, do we want to do score predictions for Chargers?
We usually do it at the end.
Okay, we'll wait.
So,
all right, get to it.
Week 3, there's a lot of good games. There's a lot of good divisional games this week.
Lots.
Week 4, I apologize.
Actually, low-key, a lot of good games.
Now, it'll be dependent on how good they are because so many people are hurt. And it won't be what we thought it was going to be, but it'll be interesting. So
exactly, very interesting.
Thursday night football starts off. Thursday night football starts off with the division game in New Jersey. I was like, where do the Giants play? Cowboys at Giants.
Both are 1-2.
That's going to be such a terrible game, and I'm going to watch. Like, that is a game that I'm not looking forward to watching. I don't think it's going to be good because the Cowboys are terrible and the Giants are not great. So
that's why I low-key think it could be entertaining. I hope I'm right, but like it also could be horrible.
yeah.
So I think I'm just hopeful that we get a good game, but it could be horrible.
Who do you think wins?
Probably the Cowboys.
They need to win.
But I also could see like the Giants being fired up from last week and being like,
I would not be surprised if the Giants won this game at all.
No.
I'll
I'm
actually
go Cowboys, but I kind of think Giants could.
You know what? I'll actually be in Dallas on Thursday. I might have to go out and watch the game.
Yeah, you should.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have to go do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking the Giants though. No, I'm not. I'm taking the Cowboys to win. They need a win.
They need it. I think they'll end up winning. I do think they'll end up winning.
But the Giants normally give them.
They'll give them hail. They'll give them hail.
It's like playing the Broncos.
Yeah, oh yeah. Division games are messy. Yeah. It's division. That's how it goes.
Next game. I'm so excited for this game. I'm coming back to Kansas City early on Saturday to make sure I can watch all of Sunday football.
Sunday.
The Bengals at the Panthers at noon.
So, Andy Dalton versus old team, which I love.
I'm so taking the Panthers in this game.
Actually think this could be a good game. I never would have thought that, but I actually think this could be a good game. Bengals need a win, and Panthers are coming off a high from last week. And Andy Dalton's going to want to cook his old team.
And they're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are going to buy tickets. You think the Panthers? You think Bengals go 0-4?
They stink. They're not good. That defense is awful.
The defense is suspicious. Not against us, of course. Not against us, but everyone else.
Oh, yeah, no, never. I'm going to go ahead and go Panthers this week. Since I didn't go Giants for the Cowboys.
Oh, man.
Who do you think wins?
I'm going to say Bengals, but I like the Panthers pick. I like it.
Next, finally, it is so funny because when I was in Atlanta this weekend, they were like, we're going to beat y'all and then we're going to beat the Saints next week. And I was like, oh
yeah.
Okay, now I'm going for the Saints. So this week we got a really good division game in the NFC South. We got Saints at Falcons at noon.
Which is such a toss-up for me. And it's at this. Wait, is it at Falcons or at Saints?
Sis. God bless. Uno momento, por favor.
So it's at Falcons. Okay. I think the Falcons
I'm like, you put at Falcons, but I was like, I feel like I got to go fact check it. Yeah, they're you questioned it, which made me question it. I'm like, why would you do that? Yeah, they're playing at the Benz this weekend.
I think Falcons are going to take it, but I think it'll be a good game. But the Saints
flex this to Sunday night. I don't even know what the Sunday night game is.
So I don't know what to make of that.
They don't have to flex it.
No.
Okay, so they always split. So I think this is the game the Falcons win.
Yeah.
That's the way I'll just be logical about it. They always split. So this is the game I think they win.
Exactly.
It'll be really good though.
It'll be very good.
Because Kirk Cousins is going to get picked off. Anyway, next game, Jags at Texans at noon.
So the Jags are going to be really hungry for a win, and there's a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence, but they're playing in Houston, and Houston just came off of a really tough loss against the Vikings. So
correct.
I think this game is going to be tough. I think it's going to be gritty. I don't want to pick the Jags again. I got to pick Texans. I think the Jags kind of suck.
I'm 100% not picking the Jags. The Jags are terrible. Trevor Lawrence looks awful. The Texans are going to get theirs back
Yeah,
this week.
they're gonna get it back. Yeah, I agree.
They did not expect to lose to the. I did not have. I had them winning last week against the Vikings. So, and talking about the Vikings, this actually might be one of my favorite noon matchups.
I know.
Only if Jordan Love is playing. If Jordan Love isn't playing, I'm not interested. But
Malik Willis has been good too.
Yeah, but I want to see Jordan Love.
I mean, I do too.
Vikings at Packers. Two coaches that I love.
I think this is the week the Vikings lose.
I hope it is.
I think the Packers are going to win this one. I think it's at home. I think they want to make a statement against the Vikings because the Vikings weren't supposed to be much. And yeah, I think the Packers win it.
You know.
But I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait.
I know I just said the Packers, but I actually think the Vikings win.
Good. I like it. Keep going.
I think the Vikings go get this one on the road. Yeah. It's going to come down to like a field goal. It better come down to like a field goal. Let me go see something real quick. I got to look something up super quick. I just looked it up for the Chiefs, and now I got to go look it up for this game. I want to see who they have favorite and what the spread is for that Vikings-Packers game, because that's going to be really good.
It's probably like
they have the Packers winning. Yes, 2.5. The Packers are favored at 2.5.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a home game.
Yeah. I think they'll probably split, and I think the Packers win this one.
Yeah. The next noon game, God bless one.
I know.
Is Eagles at Bucks. So the whole entire never mind. Eagles at Bucks. You know, the Bucks have the chance to do something funny here. The Bucks have the chance to do something. Isn't what's his name out for the Eagles still?
AJ Brown.
No.
Who?
CJGJ. Chauncey. Gardner Johnson. Isn't he still
he played. No, he played.
I thought he was injured.
Darius Slay got injured. Big play Slay got injured. And then Devontae Smith is out with a concussion from last week.
Did they rule him out already?
Well, he came. I don't know if he's for sure out, but something.
Well, he went out with a concussion, but I don't think they ruled him out yet.
I think I have the Buccaneers winning this one.
Yeah, I do too. I got Tampa Bay winning this.
Yeah.
Because Tampa Bay lost last week.
Yeah. I think they're going to get back on track. They play well. They play well against the Eagles. No, I don't either. I'm not sold on them.
Not sold on them at all. Can't even like Jalen anymore because he's engaged.
Can't like him anymore.
Not a fan of Nick Sirianni. I'm going to root against him every single week.
Oh, I know there is actually a hurricane headed towards Tampa right now.
Yes, because some of that weather's supposed to be in Georgia Friday. And I was like, oh. But I mean, the NFL doesn't care about that. Remember when we had to go down to Tampa Bay during a hurricane? And,
of course I do.
Because I was angry. Very angry.
Yeah, same.
And then Sunday Night Football, which should be pretty good. Bills versus Ravens, an AFC game that I know I'm going to be watching.
I'm hate watching.
Oh, because that's
what hate watching. That's what we say, right?
That's what kids do now.
That's what they say. We're hate watching.
We're hate watching.
I'm gonna.
The Bills are gonna win.
They probably are.
Makes me very angry.
Although I think it should be a very good matchup, and I think both quarterbacks are going to try to go off because it's Sunday Night Football. I think Lamar is going to want to prove that
because they're in Baltimore,
that MVP over Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's going to want to show that he deserves MVP. I think they're both going to be running a lot. I think it's going to be a lot of hero ball.
Going to be some interceptions.
I'm going to go Ravens because I want the Bills to lose and I'm manifesting, but
I love that for you. Yeah, I think the Bills win, and I hate it.
I love that we're going against each other in all of our picks. We'll see what happens.
They're going to need to lose one very soon. Not a fan. They need to lose one. Monday Night Football is going to be really good also. Seahawks at Lions. Didn't the Lions lose last week?
No, they won.
They lost the week before.
Yes, correct. They lost to the Bucks.
Seahawks at Lions.
Seahawks at Lions. I can't wait, actually.
It's going to be very messy. I can't wait.
I do think the Lions will win.
Huh?
I think the Lions will win, but I think it's going to be a great game.
Because they're at home.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see them losing.
Say it one more time.
I just don't see them losing.
The spread is, the Lions are favored at 3.5.
Yeah. I think the Seahawks are a good team, but I think,
they know how to play in a loud environment.
I think they're due to lose eventually. I think this might be that game for them.
I
think the Lions are the better team. That's what I think.
I think the Lions are the better team 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just looking up things.
I'm sitting by a window and I'm watching like a lightning show behind my computer right now. It is lightning like crazy outside.
Yeah, it's gonna storm soon. So
it's like just everywhere.
Oh God, the Titans are 0-3 and they play the 1 and 2 Dolphins.
I didn't even
2 games on Monday again.
Again,
I didn't realize there's 2 on Monday. I like that. That game actually might be interesting because they're both terrible.
It could be interesting, actually. It could be very entertaining.
Awful.
Do you remember last year those 2 teams played in primetime at the Dolphins and Will Levis went in there and shook things up and won? You remember that? So
who knows what's going to happen? Anyway, let's get into Chiefs score predictions. Oh my God, we have been here so long.
I know we gotta get on. Okay.
Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs are the favorite by 8.
Oh God.
Yeah, the line has went to 8. That means that they think that we're going to beat them by at least 8 points. For those who are listening. Woo! I have us definitely winning. I think it's going to be conservative and we'll probably win by like 10 or 8 or something egregious like that because Andy Reid's going to be like, all right, well, we're up. Let's shut the playbook. And then we're going to run for 70 times in the fourth quarter.
Oh man, it's gonna be probably. God, I think I'm gonna go 33.
Ooh, you think we're gonna put up 30 points?
I do. I think this is our first 30 burger. I think we get 33 to 17 again. Let's say 17.
Yeah, I don't have much. I definitely think we're 4-0 after this week, and if we're not, I'm going to be very angry. Huh?
Did you have a score?
Oh, did I not say one? Yeah. No, I just said we're going to win by 8 or 10, huh?
Yeah. No, you didn't say a score.
It's going to be like like a 26 to 17.
We're feeling that 17.
Or 14.
13.
No, they're going to kick a field goal. Or like
if they have Taylor Heineke playing, I think we're going to be, and no tackles.
Like a 26 to 16. Something real bland. I'm like something bland. I think the defense does something cool.
All right. 33-17, 26-16. There we go.
No, do 27-17.
27-17. Okay.
Yeah, I think we win by like 8 or 10. All right. It is time to get into the sponsors. Are you ready?
I am ready. So we have Autograph. We are excited to be partnering with Autograph, a fandom company co-founded by NFL legend Tom Brady. Their new app, Autograph, gives diehard fans like you a one-stop shop for all the best fan content for your favorite team, obviously the Chiefs. rewards you for doing what you're already doing as a fan. For example, you can listen to our podcast anywhere, but when you listen on the Autograph app, you actually earn coins that can be redeemed for amazing rewards, including free discounted and no fee tickets, A+ memorabilia,
They just gave a Chiefs jersey away.
memorabilia and merch. Yeah. And one-of-a-kind experiences. So if you listen to our podcast on their app, you redeem points to get these cool rewards in the future, which is awesome. And then, so download the Autograph app in the App Store or Google Play Store today for free and use our referral code Kingdoms Queens. That is referral code Kingdoms Queens.
They definitely just gave away a Chiefs jersey, and I was like, what? Why didn't I know about this? But yeah, they definitely gave away. They gave away a Chiefs jersey because people were just getting points from just being on the app and literally listening to podcasts. So that was very interesting. And I was like, well, dang.
So y'all already listen to these Chiefs podcasts. Go on their app. They have other podcasts too as well. So yeah, I think like Locked On Chiefs is on there. There's a few on there. So get on there and
good people on there. Some good locals.
Yes.
Homage. So we did our giveaway and we awarded 3 people who I do not know the names off of the top of my head right now. And I apologize because I have not looked at my phone, but very excited to be able to have our first contest and to give away 3 cool things. We're probably going to have another one in October.
Yeah, we'll have another one coming up
soon. It's definitely going to be something towards the end of the month as we are in spooky season. But shout out to everybody who participated. There were so many people who participated in our first contest.
I know, and I wish everyone could win.
It was overwhelming. It was like over how many people? Like over
like 100 something at least.
It was like close to 200 people, and I was just like, oh my Lord in heaven. There are so many people.
And they kept going too. So yeah, it might have been even over 200 at that point.
Yeah, it was a lot. So shout out to everybody who followed us and they followed Homage. If you have not went onto their website, they have so much great vintage apparel that is super soft, very cozy, washes well, doesn't tear up, no holes. You can put it in the dryer and it won't shrink. So lots of great apparel on there, especially, and they have more than NFL too. They have other sports teams on there too. So make sure that you are following Homage. Be listening out for us as we are getting ready to have another contest here very, very soon for the month of October. And congratulations to the winners, because who does not want free apparel? Hello.
Yes.
So no, but shout out to everybody. We are up to 1,600 people listening in, and we have been here for a very long time. I didn't even realize it's been almost
wow. We gotta end this. We gotta wrap it up. But thanks for tuning in with us, y'all. We love y'all.
Didn't realize
sticking around for this whole show, because
God bless y'all. If you are on YouTube and you are listening right now, what am I getting ready to say? Yeah, go hit the like button and go like this episode. Make sure you go like this episode right now. Hit the thumbs up for us. And please make sure that if you have not subscribed to us, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and that you are following us on all of our platforms, which include Twitter and Instagram and Apple and Spotify. But please, 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 please. Thank you, Andrew, for liking and subscribing. Be like Andrew. Like and subscribe with us right now. So shout out to Peter. Been here since 12:45. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Can't believe we've been here for an hour and 40 minutes. But y'all have a lovely night. Have a safe weekend. Let's have fun in LA this weekend and beat on the Chargers. And other than that, we'll see y'all next Tuesday.
Go Chiefs. Love you.